Many have acknowledged in the past, and it simply cannot be overstated how magical the world of Breath of the Wild truly is. Especially as an extremely refreshing, hopeful take on a post-apocalyptic world. Funny enough, this didn't come from nowhere, as Majora's Mask had a somewhat similar down-to-earth approach to the way people react to disaster and tragedy. Yet Breath of the Wild takes place 100 years after its own tragedy. This puts the hope and resilience among Hyrule's inhabitants at the forefront. They know what's going on almost better than Link even does by the time he wakes up. They grew up in this world, and their parents grew up and raised them in, well, this world. An entirely new culture, complete with traditions, knowledge, and economies, as appropriately bare bones as they are, has already been established. By far, my favorite part of Breath of the Wild has always been exploring not just the wilds, but also meeting and learning about the inhabitants who share these wilds. There's a remarkable amount of detail in the lives of those you meet on the road. From the seasoned horseback riders, who give you advice, share their fears, or even tip you off on some particularly daring places to explore. To even the most initially inept of wanderers, who even grow able to share better and more valuable favors each time you meet them on the road. Getting to know the traveling merchants in particular reveals details about the local area's economy. For instance, this guy sells vegetables at Dueling Peaks and buys meat, presumably from this particular other guy, the meat merchant, seen on the road between Dueling Peak Stable and a nearby forest, strongly implying this forest is where he gets the meat. Many of the merchants even express clear preferences in purchases from you, which does not impact your profit or ability to sell anything in any way. The nuanced AI behind the lines they say when buying things from you exists for the sake of making these people and the world itself feel real, and that's it. I have particularly fond memories of exploring the Faron region early on in some of my early playthroughs. It's that one corner of the map without any significance to any of the main quests, I'm pretty sure. There's not even any memories over there. Go figure. Yet it's clearly designed with the weary yet curious spirit of an ambling wanderer in mind, featuring plenty of memorable people and places, as well as down-to-earth yet noble challenges to help the folks at these places. There's even NPCs that'll teach you valuable skills, giving dialogue based on your score just as well thought through as the merchants. Ultimately, the Faron region seems to be designed to give Link a character-building nudge towards heroism. The world of Breath of the Wild felt so real, I have distinct memories of going out of my way after every blood moon to clear out key routes and monster camps to keep the people safe. Up until a certain point, I think. Oddly enough, my memories of the late game in my first few playthroughs are blurry at best. I remember scaling around the walls of Hyrule Castle like a monkey with my head cut off, and then defeating Ganon, and then that's it. Yeah, that's it. With some of my most recent replays of the game, however, I think I've begun to realize why my memories of the late game and my first few playthroughs are so lacking. It's because it's not pleasant. Not just gameplay-wise, but also thematically. Each Divine Beast plot ups the feeling of urgency for your main, fairly straightforward quest you were given right from the get-go. Monsters all over the kingdom just keep getting stronger and stronger. Blood moons grant an increasingly morbid feeling, no matter how much you try to ignore the main plot. Because the plot is built into the world itself. The monsters become stronger and stronger because, well, Zelda's getting weaker and weaker and Ganon's becoming stronger and stronger. Like, yeah, shit gets real. Even some of those who could be considered Link's best friends in this world become strikingly dismissive after a certain point. Almost as if they know who he is and that there's something he needs to do. You know, besides finding all the Korok seeds and fucking around with the Lynels in the corner of the map. And yet, no matter how many times you defeat Ganon, you never get to see the aftermath. You'll always return to the infuriatingly depressing limbo where everyone just wants you to hurry up and save the princess already. Even though you already did. Hudson will keep telling you to fuck off. Bolton will keep being cryptic. Impa will literally yell at you to basically get off her fucking lawn. None of this changes after defeating Ganon. You never get to see what's on the other side of what's likely the most tense moment of Link's life thus far. All you can do is fuck off and screw around regardless of this tense atmosphere, however strange it feels. Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild is quite the enigma. It's an insanely dense world for exploration, and yet that very same world itself doesn't seem to want you to stay. It's impossible to accomplish a 100% run of this game in a way that feels narratively appropriate without some very, very meticulous planning. From a player who's already very thoroughly explored the game, at the very least within the primary story locations, and even then, you gotta imagine Link has like an insane amount of imposter syndrome, I guess. Refusing to fight Ganon until he completes all the shrines, combs through the entire kingdom as he looks for loot and resources, stumbling upon all the Korok seeds as he goes somehow, regains all his strength and then some, in order to maintain a suspension of disbelief. Which of course leads to a comical level of overkilling the final boss, but you know what? Maybe that's the point. Breath of the Wild is basically this Link's backstory. There was never any doubt in anyone, even heck, especially Zelda, that Link would ultimately succeed. In Breath of the Wild, the only true enemy Link ever had was himself. Tears of the Kingdom, however, is different.
But Link, I'm not sure you'll be able to stop him.
The second trailer established that, first of all, this new threat to Hyrule, in the words of Zelda herself, is far more dire than before, if that was even possible. But second of all, I'm finally getting to the point of this video, thanks for sticking around. The final trailer reveals that Tears of the Kingdom is simply taking the narrative of Link, the loner who always bore everything for the most part alone, to its next logical step. You are not alone. While it's unclear who this figure that sounds different from Zelda is speaking to, this line does coincide with clips of Link fighting alongside Sidon, Tolan, and even some random NPCs. Shout out to Buckethead. And there's no way that's a coincidence. And if they actually manage to pull that off, that'd be so freaking amazing. Like, I'm a little bit wary about, the inherent difficulties with AI, friendly AI, all that. But hey, it's not like Breath of the Wild's AI was perfect either. They always had their quirks, the uncanny valley and all that. And yeah, that's literally all I have to say. I love this world, I love these characters, even the NPCs of all things. That is all, and thanks for watching! It's been so long since I've done an outro. What am I supposed to say again? Oh yeah, subscribe, all that. Check the pinned comment for like music details. Because the music you're listening to right now is this awesome remix by this guy. I'm dropping a link, go check it out. Hasta la vista!